What up, Fire Dog? Yeah, we're live. We're back. Ethan, good to see you. Dirt Nap. I am alive. I am alive. I got some funny stories to tell, but we're here. And was finishing up setting up the live stream, a little rusty right now. All right. We're locked in. I'm a little bit behind on like news and stuff like that, so you guys are going to have to cue me in. I know some numbers got reported last week. I was just doing a bunch of traveling. Went to Utah, did some snowboarding, banged up my hip. Oh yeah, no, Roger, I'm good. Limping around a little bit, but nothing bad. I wish I could show you guys, but it's kind of in a weird place, and I think a little too much of my butt would be on stream, so we're gonna hold off on showing you that. But maybe if I see any of you guys in person at Vegas, I'll show you a picture of what I did. You thought what was an April Fool's joke? No, good morning, guys. Make sure to smash the like button. Good to be back. Did a whole bunch of traveling, so. Oh, you thought my live was an April Fool's joke? No, I have no plans on stopping the lives. Just when I'm traveling and stuff, it's like, it's too much. It's too much. Did you send it, Mickle? Yeah, we are getting a nice little reversal upon the live stream, so that's nice. The $1 million wound. That's funny. No, but a little bit of out of the news flow. So I'll be kind of catching up this morning on the news flow. I don't think there was too much that happened. The one big thing that happened when I was away was obviously that settlement between Ripple and the SEC that I think we're still waiting for the SEC to confirm, but that will get confirmed. So that's really nice to see. That's definitely probably the biggest thing that I saw come over the finish line, which is almost exactly as we anticipated, right? We said there was going to be a drop of the appeal and then a settlement, and that's exactly what we got. Job reports at 10 a.m. and then ISM. Oh, I sent it when I was snowboarding, and I sent it a little too hard at one point. So, got a big bruise like that big on my hip. It was tough. It was tough. But it was a great time. It was an excellent time. It happened at the end of the trip. So it wasn't too bad. And I was able to still go the next day. Made it a short day, but I was still able to go. The market crashed with Mickle's butt. Yep. Yeah, that no, I might maybe me hitting the ground crashed the market a little bit. Fire Dogs starting in new spaces with some TA guys. Oh, very cool. Oh, that's awesome, Fire Dog. I'll have to pop in. Very cool to see. No, spaces are fun. You can learn a lot of cool things from a lot of cool people in those spaces. So I spend a lot of time in those spaces just learning from people who are smarter than me in different areas. It's a really, really cool new feature because you can talk to people you would have gotten to talk to before and kind of bounce questions off of them. Oh, Adkins on Thursday confirmation. I did hear a kind of a cool story about Adkins, and I don't want to say too much, and I'll just say from my understanding, Adkins is very pro XRP. So did hear a cool story about Adkins. I think Adkins is very pro XRP, and I think that's a very good thing for XRP moving forward. I know Eleanor also had an interesting post. Let me see if I can pull it up. Du-du-du. Oh, maybe it was an older post. I thought I saw a post from Eleanor about XRP. And about the strategic reserve, but maybe I was missing something. Roger, that's funny. Roger said, "Glad you're back. I was running out of things to talk to my GF about." That's so funny. No, I definitely wanted to spin up some when I was traveling, but it was the time zone difference was kind of messing things up a bit, and then I had so much other stuff going on, so you guys know how it goes. It's also nice seeing it. Like, it wasn't the worst week ever to not be doing the live streams, because it wasn't like the only thing I wish there was a live stream going for was for that settlement, but you know, not the end of the world. If we take a look at XRP, we can see XRP is holding pretty nicely where we've been trading. Um, the market, the actual stock market, has been getting destroyed, and XRP is just kind of holding steady up at these levels. So a really, really good sign. We still need to see this play out a bit more and get more towards the middle of this section. But where we're trading right now is definitely a very good spot. We continue to find this support at above $2. So great sign. Did I propose? No, I did not propose. I went to Utah, and then I went to an XRP meetup with XRP 007. If you guys know him, he's a great guy in the space. Yeah, time off is nice, but I don't know how much real time off it really was, but that's all right. I'm still getting back on the time zone switch, even though it was small. The mornings still rock you a little bit, and then just recovering from being on a plane. I was on so many plane flights, and then the last day, of course, when I was coming back home, um, my entire flight got canceled. Had to switch to a new flight. The new flight was delayed like 6 hours. Got in at like 2 in the morning, so it was the full travel experience, which I could have done without, but part of the fun of traveling these days. You never you never know when your plane's gonna take off. Carton, thank you, man. Appreciate that. No, I'm glad to be back, and this is that was like the only big travel event I had planned in a while. Normally it's just a weekend or something, and it's kind of unnoticeable. But this was a bigger trip. I don't know. Still trying to figure out if I'm gonna go to Singapore for Ripple Swell. Um, that would be a big one as well. So we'll see if I end up doing that. Yeah, Roger, I did end up going to the 007 thing, and I kind of regret not talking about it more on the stream, because more people could have gone, but I really didn't know if I was going to be able to make it until last minute, because I had to change my flight when I was in Utah, cancel the trip back, fly out to Utah to go there. So up until the day I could get that flight confirmed, it was like 50-50 on whether or not I was going to be able to go. And then when I busted up my hip, I was really like, yeah, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. Um but everything kind of fell into place last minute. But I was kind of there and I was like, oh man, I wish I kind of talked about this more in the live stream that I was coming here, but it still worked out pretty well. Think space. Oh, thank you so much, guys. No. I was I was good. I was good. I appreciate all the concern though. You guys are the best. You guys are a real fam. Silver Days, good to see you, man. I didn't want to tell everyone I was going to the 007 meetup and then end up having to cancel because I couldn't get the flights worked out. Thank you, Crypto Clay. Appreciate that, brother. When does retail ever get the chance to front run big institutions? Money just itching to drive in. Completely agree, digital revolution. This is one of the few asset classes that's like that. Saul put out an interesting post. We'll take a look at this real quick. For the record, XRP just closed its fourth consecutive month candle above its previous highest ever monthly close of $1.19 in 2017. So great observation by Saul here, and we'll take a look at this exact thing on the actual chart. So if we zoom out and take a look at the monthly and get a better chart than this terrible one that TradingView always likes to send me to, we can see, yep, we have 4 months now above that previous all-time high, which is excellent to see. I'm really finding this as a solid support right across there. So very, very good to see that taking place. I mean, this is one of those things that you just, it really doesn't get much better than that, than just finding that support right there. It was the first ever quarter close above $2. Okay, very interesting. No, I mean, the chart looks phenomenal, and especially with how negative the markets have been, to be holding where we are is a great sign. I think XRP to BTC did get whacked. Take a look at XRP BTC. Gotta go to the daily here. All right, so it looks like we're still holding this channel, but we're definitely at the bottom part of this channel. Would love to see XRP recover against BTC here and move back into the middle. So we're at a bit of a bottom on this channel. We'll see how this ends up playing out, but we do have a green candle coming in right now, trying to find some support. So XRP to BTC definitely took a hit in this market sell-off. But still in this ascending channel, so still ascending over the past couple months, which is good to see. The sentiment been all week, like everyone is standing on the ledge of the Golden Gate Bridge. Yeah, you know, there's a lot of impatience right now on seeing the market get moving, but there's just a lot of big TradFi things going on with tariffs right now, with negative GDP data, with inflation that's kind of dominating the headlines. Those are all short-term things, in my opinion. All of those things will kind of get pushed away as soon as the numbers look better. You guys need to remember that the media likes to really cling on to some of these headlines and use it as a fear catalyst, because fear catalysts drive a lot of clicks, and the more people that they can get super scared about the market, the more people who are going to tune in and watch their events. So This tariff thing is really bringing a lot of fear to the market. And I don't personally think that fear is necessarily justified. Yeah, no, I did see Larry Fink admitting that BlackRock is Larry Finken has really been someone really pushing very hard for cryptocurrency technology. Um, I don't think a lot of people would have assumed that to happen. But Larry Fink has been a big supporter of the technology, which is great to see because it's gonna push a lot of people to say, okay, well, we thought this was kind of just a gimmick and something we shouldn't be paying attention to, but maybe we're really not paying attention to the right thing. See what else we got here. Just scrolling through some news, making sure we're not missing anything. Oh, here we go. This was kind of one of those Larry Fink notes that was pretty interesting. So he put out a letter on tokenization and a specific line from it that I thought was very interesting. That sounds like it was written directly by Ripple. Um, Transactions that currently take days would clear in seconds, and billions of dollars currently immobilized by settlement delay could be reinvested immediately back into the economy, generating more growth. ThinkSpace LLC says, has Paul Atkins been confirmed yet? I don't think so. I haven't seen it, but he will be confirmed. I don't think there's really any controversy on Paul Atkins. Take a look at this note, though. Tokenization changes all of that. If SWIFT is the postal service, tokenization is email itself. Assets move directly and instantaneously, sidestepping intermediaries. I mean, it just sounds like to me like Ripple wrote a lot of this. It's like their language that they've been pushing for the last couple of years. So I find that very, very interesting. It's like that exact terminology Ripple's been saying is starting to show up in the terminology of a lot of these other institutions. Even this, the world's money moves through plumbing built when trading floors still shouted orders and fax machines felt revolutionary. Take the Society for Worldwide Interbank Fintech, or SWIFT. It's a system that underpins trillions of dollars of global transactions every day, and it works very much like a relay race. Banks hand off instructions one by one, meticulously checking details at each step. That relay approach made sense in the 1970s and analog era when the markets were much smaller and trading transactions were much fewer. But today, relying on SWIFT feels like routing emails through the post office. Tokenization changes all of that. If SWIFT is the postal service, tokenization is email itself. Assets move directly and instantaneously, sidestepping intermediaries. So a couple very interesting notes by BlackRock there. I mean, literally telling you guys that they agree with the technology that we have been talking about for the last couple of years. And I think it just proves that we've been able to see a lot of this transformation prior to a lot of these big institutions. I said in my video last night, like, look, we were the first people to figure it out, but we needed the big institutions to get on board and really say, okay, you know what? Like, you guys were right on a lot of this. Like, we are now seeing these same exact things that you are. And now we hear the institutions really kind of saying, like, oh, yeah, this is not going to be a private blockchain thing. This is the public blockchains that these people have been talking about. And I think it's cool to see them coming out and really admitting that for the first time. And it doesn't get much better than BlackRock saying it, right? Like, there's a lot of smaller institutions that can come out and you could say, okay, well, the big boys still need to be on board. But this is a lot higher up than I was really expecting to see. I mean, BlackRock just a couple years ago was calling cryptocurrency a scam. And it kind of shows that a lot of these big boys, right, aren't as in the know as many people think, but their opinions are evolving very rapidly. Do you think just having 19 or so ETFs on its own is a catalyst that will drive price action? I certainly do think it will help drive price action, but right now the market's kind of just moving based off the more macro level things. A lot of people are scared of the macro, and until that changes, a lot of people are going to continue to be panicking about things like tariffs. I personally don't think it makes much of a difference. I don't think these tariffs really have anything to do with what this long-term movement is going to be, but it's definitely dominating the headlines in the short term. So we just got to kind of move through some of these initial worries in the market. I don't think it will be hard at all. And I think we're probably at the tail end of people freaking out about this stuff. Is it true that the United States government has locked out Tether? I don't know. I haven't seen anything like that. But I don't think, based off of how Tether is currently operating, um, that they're currently very compliant with the stablecoin rules that are going to pass. We saw two big RLUSD mints also that I wanted to highlight. Close to 67 million RLUSD minted over the last couple days. This is a huge amount because this is almost like a 40% increase or 35% increase in RLUSD. So this should have a pretty big impact on the market cap here. Let's see if it's already being reflected on. Yeah, so it's already being reflected on trading on CoinMarketCap, which now has these numbers accurately done. So 243 million on RLUSD. Watching the growth of this thing is going to be very, very fun. But just starting to see that exponential rise in RLUSD, 243 million. I think we'll be at 1 billion pretty quickly. So RLUSD growing very, very nicely. And as Brad Garlinghouse said, actually faster than the Ripple team thought this thing was going to be growing. Mary Cox, good to see you. Ed, good to see you, man. Great to see you. Liberation Day? That's supposed to be tomorrow, right? I have no idea. I have no idea what Liberation Day will be. I have seen people talking about it. I have no idea. Seems like it's anyone's guess. So far, forecasting a lot of these different announcements by the Trump team have not been too successful for anyone, I don't think. So I am just going to sit back and wait and see if anyone else has any good guesses on what Liberation Day will be. I think that's tomorrow, though. I think it was going to be today, but they didn't want to do it on April Fool's Day. So we should be expecting something. We'll see. We'll see what it is. End the Fed. I don't think it will be an end of the Fed, but I think that is an interesting thought. Curious what other people think. What will Liberation Day be? And also, guys, make sure to smash the like button. First stream back. We got to let everyone know these live streams are back and cooking. Um, because it's important to realize that XRP trades on a lot of different exchanges, so it just depends on where you're pulling the price of XRP. Sometimes there's a small difference in the price of XRP across different exchanges. So, I don't think Ripple. So this is something I hear a lot in terms of Ripple replacing the Fed. That's a good topic to talk about. Um, Crypto Clay says 737 people watching, only 181 likes. Let's go, people. Yeah, guys, make sure to smash the like button. Really appreciate everyone doing that. Yeah, so I don't think it's really likely that Ripple replaces the Fed. And the reason for that is because Ripple really acts as a tool to the Fed. You have to realize that Ripple is really a technology provider. The Fed is really like a um, piece of market infrastructure. So it's a lot more likely, in my opinion, that Ripple works with the Fed rather than replacing them, because the Fed, for all intents and purposes, is essentially acting like an arm of the government. And it makes a lot more sense that Ripple would work with the Fed than necessarily replacing them. It was really good, Charles. It was really good. It was a lot of fun. Got to meet a lot of cool people. Exhausted, tired, but happy to be back, and it was a really good time. Taylor, good to see you. Yeah, we're back, Taylor. Yeah, I think they're more likely to replace the Fed's outdated accounting system and help with a technology upgrade. But here's the thing, like the way money is created right now is the Treasury issues debt, and then the Federal Reserve, or the Treasury issues notes, and then the Federal Reserve buys those notes, which is the Treasury creating debt and the Federal Reserve purchasing that debt and then capitalizing the banks. Um, that can still happen with Ripple being a critical part of the equation, and I think it's likely that the Federal Reserve would still exist doing that kind of role. Just my prediction. I know a lot of people think the Federal Reserve is going to be dissolved or something like that. Um, I think that's a big, big change that I'm not sure we're necessarily ready for. I think Ripple would be more of like the infrastructure tool for the Fed. Have you ever thought about doing a podcast with Black Swan Capitalist? Yeah, no, absolutely. I'd definitely be open to doing that. No reason I really haven't, other than I don't really do a lot of interviews on my channel. So if he ever wanted me on his channel, I'd love to come on. Let me take a look at what that is, Taylor. I'm good. I'm good. Um, no, everything's going well with me, so appreciate you guys for checking in. Oh, I did see that, Taylor. So someone said at this so Bitcoin had empty blocks, and someone said at this point, I hope Bitcoiners realize this space is more than just podcast, X spaces and number go up and digital gold narrative. If we don't get people using Bitcoin for real commerce, it's game over. Um Yep, that's one of the problems with the digital gold narrative. And it is interesting to see Jack Dorsey leaning into that. Yeah, Taylor, I am definitely probably need a couple days of sleep recovery before I'm back in action. It also was a lot of the flying. It really dried me out, and maybe got a little sick from being on a plane for so long. But no, we're recovering. Yeah, it would have been I almost did a space yesterday. I almost did a live stream yesterday, and I'm glad I didn't, because live like yesterday I was really I woke up to go do it, and then I looked at myself and I was like, man, I was like, I don't know if I'm ready to get in front of a camera right now. Jack Dorsey, I'm pretty sure Jack Dorsey was the creator of Bitcoin, but could be wrong. There's a very interesting tweet thread really breaking down on why Jack Dorsey would be the creator of Bitcoin, and I have to say I'm pretty bought into it. Here's an interesting one. MasterCard is building a blockchain-powered payment network targeting banks and consumers for seamless fiat to crypto transactions. Very interesting. I know MasterCard was a very early Ripple partner. Yeah, Taylor, I was thinking the same thing. I haven't watched the newest Not Financial Advice video. I've got it. Let's take a look at it. I did see it blowing up.
What if I told you in the years leading up to the creation of the Federal Reserve, an immensely popular bear cartoon called The Roosevelt Bears was introducing young readers all over the country to the specific cities the Federal Reserve would establish banks in the near future? The Bears visited the Treasury with Teddy Roosevelt, the Philadelphia Mint to see pounds and tons of silver and paper cash being made. They talked about high finance and making big deals in oil and steel, familiarized children with the concept of ID and cashing checks, and even saw a psychic palm reader who said they would become millionaires. Anyway, Teddy Roosevelt and bear cartoons appearing before a massive revolution in banking isn't the only thing the Roosevelt Bears have in common with BG123. The Bears had a very impressive hat collection, traveled with an owl they never mention, climbed to the top of the eagle's nest aboard a ship, dressed like cowboys with Teddy Roosevelt, I might add, rang a bell, visited a castle, and even said that the world is a stage. What were the Bears' names? Teddy B and Teddy G. The Roosevelt Bears, which ran right before the establishment of the Federal Reserve and curiously share so many themes with BG123, were named BG. What is going on with Teddy Roosevelt double meaning bears and the letters BG? How on earth could this be just a coincidence?
Wow. Let's run that back real quick. That's a pretty crazy video. Yeah, not financial advice. Crypto is taking it to the next level, because I mean this is just pure fact. I mean this is crazy.
What if I told you in the years leading up to the creation of the Federal Reserve, an immensely popular bear cartoon called The Roosevelt Bears was introducing young readers all over the country to the specific cities the Federal Reserve would establish banks in the near future? The Bears visited the Treasury with Teddy Roosevelt, the Philadelphia Mint to see pounds and tons of silver and paper cash being made. They talked about high finance and making big deals in oil and steel, familiarized children with the concept of ID and cashing checks, and even saw a psychic palm reader who said they would become millionaires. Anyway, Teddy Roosevelt and bear cartoons appearing before a massive revolution in banking isn't the only thing the Roosevelt Bears have in common with BG123. The Bears had a very impressive hat collection, traveled with an owl they never mention, climbed to the top of the eagle's nest aboard a ship, dressed like cowboys with Teddy Roosevelt, I might add, rang a bell, visited a castle, and even said that the world is a stage. What were the Bears' names? Teddy B and Teddy G. The Roosevelt Bears, which ran right before the establishment of the Federal Reserve and curiously share so many themes with BG123, were named BG. What?
That's pretty crazy. Appreciate you for pushing me to check that out, Taylor. I mean, that is ridiculous. Wow. Gotta give that a repost. I mean, the research there, I mean, is like, I mean, Teddy B and Teddy G, I mean, lining up with BG. You know, I've never been a big riddle person, but if you can bring me stuff like that, I mean, that's like, I mean, those are the kinds of things that make you really think twice about who is behind those accounts. And it's very interesting to see them copying that Federal Reserve kind of riddle and messaging that clearly took place back in the day. Mark Smithson, that's so funny. BG, Brad Garlinghouse. Yeah, BG, Brad Garlinghouse, bearable guy. I don't know if Brad Garlinghouse is bearable guy, but I'm curious if he's had some kind of part in it. Clearly, whoever is doing it is extremely knowledgeable about all of these things that have happened before in the past. I don't think there's any question about that. I mean, at this point, you kind of do have no choice but to buy into it. I mean, whether or not you believe it means anything or not is one thing, but just seeing those connections lets you know that this is a lot more than just someone making up some random cartoon. I know a lot of people crap all over Riddlers, but I can't get over how truly bonkers they've gotten. The T Corona. I don't know what specifically you're talking about in terms of that one. Yeah, Taylor, exactly. Taylor, you put it great. Even if it means nothing, clearly whoever is behind BG123 is very knowledgeable. I completely agree. Thank you, John Ross. Appreciate that. No, Ed, there's nothing that can really happen to make XRP a security. I don't know. I would not be worried about that in the slightest. I would not be worried about that in the slightest. Jekyll Island meetings. Yeah, there's actually a great video breaking down Jekyll Island and all of that. Have to do a bit more research myself. I have watched videos on Jekyll Island and the creation of the Fed. But now with some of this stuff coming out in terms of the BG stuff, I mean, it's definitely perking my interest. Yeah, I agree, Taylor. Absolutely. It's it's kind of crazy to watch. Oh, I just realized that I haven't been checking the X chat. Apologies if you're in the X chat and been commenting and I haven't seen it. It does make things feel a lot more scripted. I agree with that. Things do feel a lot more scripted than they've ever have. Let me check out the news real quick, make sure we're not missing anything important here. A lot of April Fool's jokes about tariffs ending. I gotta be careful. I'm like reading a lot of this stuff and there's just so many April Fool's jokes coming in. I have to sit there and be like, all right, double, triple, quadruple check. Yeah, guys, make sure you're double, triple, and quadruple checking everything today. There'll probably be a lot of stuff coming out today where you think it's true and then people are just doing April Fools at the end. So I've already had a couple of those that I've had to do double takes on. So be careful about reading any information today. Someone says, I have PTSD from nothing burgers. It's important to realize what's a nothing burger and what's not. A lot of people think just because the price doesn't pump, it's a nothing burger. I very much disagree with that. It's important to realize the price typically doesn't pump until the masses really start to understand why something's important. And the problem is we're just a lot more knowledgeable than the masses. So oftentimes we'll figure out something far before the market figures it out. And because of that, people think, oh, this just happened and the market didn't move, therefore it's a nothing burger. When in reality, it's extremely important and big and critical to the success of XRP. But the market hasn't really realized what we know. And we just know a lot more than most of the people investing into these markets. So it's important to always remember, just because the price doesn't react to something in a certain way doesn't necessarily mean it's a nothing burger. I sold all my XRP for Hawk2O coin. There we go. That's definitely not an April Fool's joke. Oh, very cool. It looks like this Friday, Stuart Alderati will have his fireside chat with Christine. I always mess his name. Giancarlo. What's his name again? Oh, Chris Giancarlo. Great guy in the space. But it looks like Stuart Alderati will have a sit down talk with him, which will be great. Oh, John, thank you so much. I appreciate that. No, thank you for tuning in. We'll be back to full energy live streams very soon. Just recovering from a lot of traveling, getting a little beat up, being on so many planes, getting sick. They really dry you out a bit too. Like you always feel a little wonky after getting off a whole bunch of planes all in a row. So I'll be back to normal energy very soon, just recovering as quickly as I can. Yeah, Ed, Ripple paying $50 million to the SEC is pretty much as big of a nothing burger as you can get. Um, Ripple can easily throw 50 million at the SEC and move right on. So 50 million for Ripple is pretty much nothing, which is crazy to think, but that's just the way it is. What do you think? What do you think Bitcoin having 12 years left, 450 mined a day, 1.5 million left? What do you think will happen then? It's going to be interesting to see what happens when all the Bitcoin is mined and what the incentives are moving forward. It's a very interesting sort of thing with Bitcoin that we're just yet to see. It's important to realize that we're still very early to these networks, and it's possible that's going to be a big change for Bitcoin when there is no more mining left. I don't know what's going to happen. That's a little bit above um, my understanding of Bitcoin to make an accurate prediction on that. But I think there's people like Vet who could provide some very good insight on what his perspective would be. Um, I know from there, all the fees will be transaction fees. But if no one's really using their Bitcoin for anything other than holding, it's going to be difficult to see what the incentive is for mining. And then miners are going to want higher fees and larger transaction fees because they want to get paid. And there's going to be much less of incentive to be a miner on the Bitcoin network if you're not being incentivized to do so. I'm not sure when the official SEC announcement will come in, probably very soon. I'm just not sure about what that summit you're talking about is. Um, maybe. I just don't know much about it. Someone says 185 incoming. We'll see. It seems like we're holding pretty strong. We'll see if today's a positive or negative day in the market. Can quantum computing expedite Bitcoin mining? Yeah, I personally think so. It's hard to see how it wouldn't. It seems like quantum computing could drastically increase the pace of Bitcoin mining, which is a very interesting thing to think about. Now, the blocks would still be released on a set schedule to be mined, I think. It would make it so it was blocks were mined very, very quickly. And the most powerful quantum computer would probably win most of the time. Then Jack Dorsey can just move everything to XRP. All right, guys, with that said, we covered most of it. It doesn't seem like there's that much news going on this morning. Guys, it's really good to be back. Normally scheduled live streams from here on out. Guys, thank you so much. Really thankful that everyone was so worried about me when I was gone. Really appreciate everyone dropping the kind words in the chat today. We'll be back now to the normally scheduled live stream, so really appreciate everyone for tuning in. Feels really good to be back on these live streams. Definitely missed it. But that was kind of that one big trip I had planned, and should be back to kind of the normal scheduled thing. So hopefully I missed out on some of the more boring news, and we've got some big stuff coming around the corner. Guys, thank you so much for coming. Great to be back. Love you guys all so much, and looking forward